Hello, everyone, and welcome into another edition of ESPN FC with myself, Alexis, Nunes, alongside Stevie, Nicol, and Shaka Hislop. We know we're into the international break, but there's still plenty to talk about after a jam-packed weekend full of club football. Let's have a look at the top half of the Premier League standings. Arsenal dropped points this weekend against Sunderland, but they are still at the top of the table. 4 points clear of Manchester City, who are starting to breathe down their necks. And should that be a concern for the Gunners? Because, yes, they have led the likes of Manchester City before in the table at exactly around this time back in the 2022-2023 season. And we all know what happened then. They ended up finishing second, 5 points behind Manchester City, who went away and won the title. So, like I said, Arsenal have been in this situation before.
The biggest thing and the most important thing for Mikel Arteta is to make sure that not just himself and his coaching staff, but the players aren't looking over the shoulder. He has to make them concentrate on what's next in hand, the next game, the next pass, the next shot, the next whatever. So the minute you start looking behind your back, that's when you take your eye off the ball, in my opinion. I don't think this Arsenal side will. I think there's a different mentality about this Arsenal side. But again, it's up to Mikel Arteta and his coaching staff to make sure that they and the players don't look behind themselves, and all they do is concentrate on what they're capable of on the field. And that's all they need to think about.
Well, Shaka, you said it just this weekend that this title right now, the way Arsenal are going, the fact that they've gotten so many reinforcements, they have such a good squad, it is theirs to lose, not concentrating on what City are doing. But in the game against Sunderland, Stevie pointed out that Sunderland went after Arsenal with that physicality, almost bullying them in a sense. So even though their mentality may be different, do we see now a blueprint on how to go after Arsenal?
Well, I guess in some respects, but I'm not sure how many can emulate that blueprint that Sunderland showed against Arsenal. Sunderland know who they are. They have that kind of physical experience that comes with the championship that I'm not sure many teams in the Premier League right now can even think about emulating. I just take that as a one-off. Listen, nobody will go the rest of the season undefeated. It's how you cope with those setbacks, and this is just a draw. In the greater scheme of things, it's 2 points dropped, no more. These things happen, and it's how you respond to them that dictates where you finish. To Stevie's point, while there's a different feel about Arsenal this season, there's also a slightly different feel about Manchester City. Yeah. For this season, especially if you want to compare it to 22-23. Now, as good as Haaland has been, and as good as City are improved on last season, I'm still not sure that this City is as good as the one we saw 2 years ago. I'm not sure that City have the goals in depth that they did in that 22-23 season where they ran Arsenal down. So I think it's a very different feel in so many respects. Now, the thing is, and it still holds, that until Arsenal can see it through, you just don't know. And that is right now what Mikel Arteta is trying to prove wrong, that we can see this through. It's okay for the rest of us to sit aside and wait for them to do that. Now Arteta has got to prepare the squad for what's to come, understand where it went wrong last time out, and how do you fix it. But during the game, I saw that and I thought, nothing wrong with that. That's a part of the game. It's pretty physical. Yeah. But the more you see it, and I know slow down replays are always difficult to really judge. But the more you see it, especially in these slower motions, it really does look like he throws that arm, as opposed to it being a flailing arm or in the natural act of jumping. Where, again, in real time, at real speed, I just thought, it's one of those collisions that happens inadvertent. I'm sure it hurt, but it was inadvertent. But the more you see the replay, the more it looks
just a quick thing on that. The referee, though, refereed that particular instance the way he refereed the game up till then. Because there was a lot of challenges, there was a lot of head clashes, which, you could slow down and look and say one or the other was responsible or reckless. So in a lot of ways, the referee judged and refereed that particular instant on the way he had been refereeing the game previously. And so from a player's point of view, that's what we like. Yeah. You know, if the opposition does something, doesn't get booked, and then you do it, as long as you don't get booked, you're okay with it. And I think, again, maybe that's another reason why he didn't send him off.
Mario, what did you think of it?
No, I think, look, okay, I understand what the guys are saying, but if I'm going for the ball and my arms are going, I'm going to have them up. The only thing why I didn't jump on it is because he doesn't really swing with the elbow towards his face. He's going up, you understand, to go after the ball. Maybe the only thing you could say, okay, his arm is too high, but still, I'm a defender. I want to go and win that ball, and I felt like he didn't really went for him. He went for that ball.
All right, well, I think we can finally go to our Frank Leboeuf there. Frank, you were a bit quiet for the first half. I think we had some technical difficulties. You need to learn to pay your Wi-Fi, Frank. You won a World Cup. We know you have the dinero. Anyways, Frank, what did you make of the conversation?
I'm sorry. I was a little bit short at the beginning of the month. I'm very sorry, but I will try to do my best. But, well, you know, I was listening to the guys, and, well, I want to go back straight to the elbow. And I refused, you know, after being having my nose broken 3-4 times, you know, in English football, to think that that football became so soft that now, because you jump, because you try to get your space, you are elbowing somebody, you deserve a red card. I will never go there, because I really think that Bala doesn't do it on purpose, doesn't try to push Merino away, as Mario said. He doesn't swing in towards Merino. He just tried to push forward to get the ball before Merino. So therefore, in order to do that, you need to push with your arm. That's a natural move. And again, I will refuse. It's a contact sport. I will refuse to think that that kind of move deserves a red card, because that guy plays the ball. And again, it's football. I mean, I will never go there. I can understand what the guy wants to prove, but you know, when Shearer was knocking me like that, and when somebody else was knocking me like that, or even headbutt me, and the ref say, "Play on," it was done a century ago. It was 20 years ago. It was only 20 years ago, and it was play on. And so I will never go there. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Frank. Don't get me wrong. In a lot of ways, I'm with you. In a lot of ways, the reason I enjoyed this game is because the way it was refereed.
Yeah.
But this is a one-off. The game's not refereed like that anymore. It's not okay, whether it's accidental or you mean it. It's not okay to stick your elbow in somebody's face. And so it's the way the game's refereed. Whether we, because of what we went through, like it or not, the game's not refereed like that anymore. You know, if you accidentally go over the top of the ball and catch somebody, you can't turn around and say, well, I didn't mean it, and 20 years ago it was okay.
Stevie, we don't have to agree with the ways being refereeing. We are there to give the audience the experience that we have and the legitimacy that we have in talking about football. And the thing is, we know about, as players, that what we have seen is not deserving a red card, because the guy just played the ball and plays football. So if it's wrong, maybe we have the right to say, well, you know, referee, change your mind, do something else, because you are going the wrong way. It's becoming so soft, like soon you will just push the guy like that and they will give a red card. So it's becoming stupid in a way. It's why I say it.
Well, Mario, let me come to you just speaking about...
You know what the thing is? The thing is, you know what, Alexis? The thing is, maybe me and Frank, we both broke our nose, so that's why maybe we're a bit more sensitive. You see, so that what happens.
Well,
Stevie was broken nose. That's the difference between Stevie and I. Stevie and us. Stevie was breaking nose. That's the difference.
A long time before we saw anybody break through that Arsenal defense quite like Sunderland did in this game. So did they expose some weaknesses in what we thought was quite the formidable defense for Mikel Arteta?
I think watching the game, right, one of the key things what Sunderland did at the start, they pressed them. They pressed them really hard in the first, like, I think 10 minutes. And when Sunderland saw that physically they couldn't keep up with that, doing it, because Arsenal is a confident side. They know how to manage to move the ball around. Okay, next thing they did, they started to play the tough game. If you look at the first half, you have to look at Shaka. Shaka set the tempo. And you always have one individual in your team that is going to set the tempo. He's the captain, but also the one that, you know, said he knows Arsenal really well because of his past. But the way he said it, you saw the way he was screaming to Mourinho when he didn't even touch him and he went down. He lost his head. And the whole team was going after like that. And that's why, if you see the first goal Ballard scored, they press them, you know, they press. They win the ball back.